Hi everyone, welcome to Vac Fashion's YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing us how to achieve this beautiful scalloped neckline. I hope this is something you're interested in learning. Kindly stay tuned. So to draft our scallop neckline, you can see I already have my princess armhole bustier drafted out already. So you can actually do this on your basic bodies also. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bustier. So first I'm going to come down by 7.5 inches from the shoulder line. That's the depth of the neckline, 7.5 inches. And then I'm going in with a width of 3.5 inches. So you can see, so at this point where I have my 7.5 inches, I'm going to confirm my 3.5 inches so that I can have a straight line. I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect it. So having done this, next I'm going to come to this side here and divide it into 3 equal parts. Remember, I have 7.5 inches. So when I divide into 3 equal parts, I'm going to have 2.5 on each of the part. So you can see here I have my 2.5 and I also have 2.5 at that end. So right now get the midpoint of my 2.5 by just folding my tape into 2. So I'm just going to fold my tape into 2 to get the midpoint of my 2.5. I'm also going to mark the midpoint of the 2.5 on the rest of the 2.5 I have here. So once I've done that, at the midpoint of my 2.5, I'll go in by 1 inch. You see? So having gone in by 1 inch, I'll bring in my pattern master and create a curve. I'm giving it a scallop shape, like an arc shape. Just watch what I'm doing carefully. You can actually use your free hand to do this. So can you see? So I'm going to repeat the same thing on the second part. So at the midpoint where I have the midpoint of my 2.5 inches, I'll also go in by 1 inch and then curve it to meet the other end of the scallop. And then turn my curve to the other side and also draw the shape. Can you see? So this is what I have. I'll also repeat this for the third part. I'll go in by 1 inch and then also create my arc shape. Just want to make sure that they are even. So this is why I'm using my pattern master, to make sure that everything is equal. So having done this, now at the base here of the neckline, I'm going to measure 2.5 inches there also. Remember, the width of our neckline is 3.5. So when I measure 2.5 inches, I'm going to be left with about 1 inch. So here at this 2.5 inches, I'll also get the midpoint of my 2.5 inches like I did for the other sides. And I'll go up rather by 1 inch, just like I did for the other side. And then I'll also bring in my pattern master and curve it just the same way. Okay, so having done that, I'm just going to blend in the scallop shape into the 1 inch I have on the side here. And then next I'll bring in my scissors and cut the scallop shape. So you just want to make sure that you are following the shape the way it is. Just do this carefully. There's no need rushing this part. So I'm going to keep cutting it just like you can see me doing. I'm not going to fast forward this side. I want us to see exactly what I am doing. So you can see this part where I have the 1 inch. Can you see how I just blended it in to go with the scallop shape I have at the base of the neckline? Can you see that? So this is what I have. Can you see the shape? You can see how it goes in at that point that's at the base of the neckline. So you just want to make sure that the scallop shape blends into that 1 inch at that side. So next I'm just going to cut out my princess armhole bustier and then I'll show us the next thing to do. Okay, so this is what our scallop neckline looks like already. So we'll move on to the next thing. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut the main fabric, and I went ahead to iron paper stay to my lining, and I also ironed haste stay to my main fabric. So next I'll bring in my gum stay. This gum stay is very, very important because you need to give the neckline stability. It needs to be hard at the neckline area for your scallop to come out really well. So I'm going to fold my gum stay into two. Okay, so for the records, my gum stay is a little on the hard side. This is not the hardest. This is, let's call it a medium weight gum stay, okay? So I'm going to fold my lining into two and place it. So you don't need too much for this gum stay. You just need about 2 to 3 inches after the neck depth. That's after the scallop shape that you have there. So that's just enough. So you want to just make sure that it's well folded. Make sure that the center front is aligning with the fold of the gum stay. It is even better to pin it so that it doesn't shift. So next I'm going ahead to trace out the shape just like you can see me doing. So you want to make sure that you follow the exact shape of the scallop that you have. So I just went ahead to pin it so that my fabric doesn't shift at all. So after tracing out the scallop shape, so I just came in by 2 to 3 inches. I didn't measure this, but that's just enough. And I cut out the shape I have here. So you can see that it looks like a facing. So like I earlier said, you don't need too much. You just want it to be around the neckline area. So now I'm going to place the side with the gum. Gum stay, one side is fusible and the other side isn't. That's the shiny part is the part that is fusible. So I'm placing the shiny part on the fabric. This is so that I can press it and it will stick to it. So you want to make sure that you place the shiny part on your fabric also. So I'm just going to give it a very nice press and this will help it to stick to the fabric. And that's exactly what I have done here at this point. You can see how my neckline aligns beautifully well and everything is sitting all nice. So next I'm going to bring in my pencil and show us how I'm going to be drawing the scallop neckline. You want to make sure that when you are sewing this neckline, everything is even. You don't want to eyeball it. It can be eyeballed, but to make it very easy for a beginner and you want to be accurate, so please just mark like I am doing. So now I'm going to mark half inch. I won't be using the head of my tape because it has a way of adding to the measurement. So I'm just going to be marking half inch, but you can see I'm placing my tape from 1 inch and I'm marking half inch round. So I'm just going to mark half inch round this scallop neckline. So you can see at every point I'm marking my half inch. So I'm going to keep doing this till I get to the other end. So after marking my half inch round, now I'm going to use my armhole curve to connect the points. So you just want to make sure that you carefully draw these curves well so that the scallop neckline can come out well. So can you see what I'm doing? So I'm just going to keep connecting the half inch points all the way to the other side. So the essence of marking this half inch, this is so that no side is longer or shorter. Everything, you just want to make sure that everything aligns well. And using this curve will just make your work easier. You don't want to have crooked lines, okay? Or crooked curves rather. So I'm just going to keep connecting it like this. So basically, I just came in by a half inch from my scallop neckline and I'm drawing the shape because that's where I'm going to be sewing on. That's where I'm going to be stitching on. Okay, so I just have the half inch going around the neckline just like this. So this point where I have that 1 inch at the base of the neckline, so you can see that that side is looking like straight kind of, okay, and you see, so you can see that at that point I have my 1 inch And then I'm also going to curve at the base of the neckline, round the neckline with my half inch. I hope this is making sense. So this is it. I'm just going to curve it here. You just want to blend all the points. That's all the points that look sharp. Just want to make sure that you are blending them. So exactly what I have done on this side is what I'll be doing on the other side. So I'm going to do that and show us the next thing to do. So after connecting my half inch points, this is what I have. So next I'm going to bring in my main fabric and I'll place the fabric. This is the right side of the main fabric. I'm going to be placing the lining on the main fabric. So right now the part with the gum stay on the lining is now the wrong side of the lining. So I placed the lining now automatically right side of the lining facing right side of the fabric. I hope you understand. So I'm going to use my safety pin to secure the lining and the fabric together. This is because you want to make sure that the points do not shift. You don't want the scallop neckline to shift. You want everything to match up, both lining and fabric. So I'm going to secure it all the way to the other side, and then we'll go to our sewing machine and I'll show us how to stitch this neckline. So to stitch the neckline, I'm going to be sewing on my half inch mark that I have on the neckline. So this makes it a lot easier. You're going to just follow your markings. So while I'm following the curve, once I get to the sharp point, I will make sure to keep my needle down. That's make sure that my needle is in, that's holding the fabric down. And then I'll lift up my footer and turn it. So just watch carefully, you will understand what I mean by leaving the needle down and raising up my footer. So you can see that at this point I've gotten to that sharp point. I let my needle hold the fabric and I lifted up my footer so that I can turn my fabric around. So this is me just following it in a curvy manner. You just want to make sure that you sew really curvy. Can you see? Just want to keep turning your fabric carefully. You don't want to rush this part at all. You don't want to do that. So just keep sewing. And then once you get to the sharp point, you can see you know the sharp point already. Just make sure that your needle is down and then lift up your footer and turn your fabric to the direction you want to sew. So I'm just going to keep doing this till I get to the other end. So you can see that this is really simple because I already have my half inch mark there. So you don't even miss the point. You can see I'm stitching exactly on top of my half inch mark. This makes it a lot easier. So like I said, I'm going to do it to the other end and then I'll show us the next thing to do. Alright, so I'm done stitching on my half inch mark and this is what I have. So you can see that no point was missed. I didn't miss any point. So having your half inch mark at the neckline is really important. This makes your work a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead now and notch round the neckline. So I'm notching at the points where I have the sharp point first before I'll come back and notch round the neckline. So please, for this notching part, I will advise that you use the tip of your scissors, especially if you're a beginner. Don't use the end of your scissors like I'm doing so that you don't mistakenly cut through your seam line. So the scissors I'm using here is not very sharp, so that's why I'm using inside. So if you know how to control your scissors well, this is fine. But as a beginner, please just use the tip of your scissors to avoid trouble. Can you see? So this is me trying to show you how to use the tip of your scissors, just that tip, so you don't mistakenly cut through your seam lines. So now after notching the point, I'm going ahead to trim the curved part. And you see, just going to trim it a little close. So I'll trim and then go ahead and notch. So I'm using the tip of my scissors now to notch the curved part. So you just want to notch around the neckline. It's curvy, so you need to notch all the points. This will help the neckline relax well when you press it. Okay, and then I'm going to trim out those curvy parts so that it's not bulky around the neckline. You want it to sit as flat as possible. So after notching the neckline round, I'm now going ahead to turn it out. So you want to make sure that you hold the scallop part and just push it out to the right side. So can you see, just hold it and push it out. Just keep holding and pushing out so that the scallop neckline can come out well. So I'm going to do this all the way to the other side. And then I'll make sure to use something. You want to use something that is not very sharp to bring out your scallop neckline well. So you can see what I have. So this is what I have at this point. You can see my scallop neckline. So I'm going to use the bottom part of my scissors. That's, instead of using the tip, I'm going to use the bottom part of my scissors to help the curvy part. Just let it just come out where you can, you see. So just using my scissors just has a way of just making that part come out well. So any part that is still reluctant to come out, the scissors will just push it out in a curvy manner. You don't want to use the tip of your scissors and poke it. Oh, you just want to be very careful with that. So I'm going to bring out everything, and then any part I notice that is not properly notched, I'm just going to notch it well so that it comes out very well. Because the once you notch it very well, that's when you notch really close to your seam line, not cutting through your seam line, please. Just notch really close to your seam line. Just has a way of bringing out everything and giving it that relaxed effect. So this is what I have. So now I'm going to take it to my pressing table and give it a very, very nice press. And I'll show us what we have. So here we are. After pressing my scallop neckline, this is what our neckline looks like. It came out so beautiful. Neckline is giving everything it should give, and this is what it looks like on the mannequin. After I joined my bustier and the sleeves, everything came out well. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something from this video. If you did, please and please like this video, share this video with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and also make sure to put on your notification bell so you get notified once I post a new video. Feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for watching. Bye.